What's up, guys? Welcome back. I'm super excited today because what I got for you is this brand new 4th generation 2023 Honda Pilot. And thanks to Norm Reeves Honda in Port Charlotte, Florida, I'm going to be able to take you on a complete tour of this vehicle. So we're going to check it out, exterior, interior, test drive, the whole 9 yards. Before we do that, guys, if this is the first time we meet, my name is Matt here on Matt the Car Guy. I post 2 car reviews every single week. So if that's something that interests you, go ahead, check out the rest of my channel. Hopefully you'll find something that you like. And if you do, don't forget to give me a subscribe and give me a like once you watch this video. Well, the first generation Honda Pilot rolled off the production line 20 years ago, back in 2003, and that was made till 2007. Then 2008 to 2015, we had the second generation. 2016 to 2022, we had the third one. This is the fourth, and I gotta tell you, from the looks of it, this is my favorite design of Honda Pilot. This is also the largest Honda Pilot that Honda's ever built, and it's completely different from the outgoing one. Now, the outgoing one, if you watch my previous video, you know that we own the 2019 Honda Pilot that we're very happy with, but quite frankly, the design of it was kind of too minivan-ish. Now, this is more trucky, this is more masculine, and more SUV, like a proper SUV should be. So let's take a look at the front. The hood of it, nice and straight. By the way, if you do like the color of this particular one, they call it the Obsidian Blue, and Honda's been making the Obsidian Blue for years. Really nice, had some sparkle on it when the sun hits it just right. It's really beautiful color. But so straight up hood, a little indents on both sides, nothing too crazy about it. Completely new headlights. They're more narrow, kind of a little bit more aggressive than the previous ones. They're the dual eye headlights, and they have this claw-like design, which means that the headlight unit kind of wraps around this chrome trim piece that goes in here. And that chrome trim piece goes across the vehicle, connecting both of the lights, basically. Straight up grille, okay? A lot of open spaces, a lot of air can go inside of it to help with cooling off the engine. Now we have this humongous Honda logo of it, probably the largest one that I've seen. And scrolling down, you still see the same color as the rest of the vehicle. Now you have a little bit of open space again for the air to get inside of here, and this polished aluminum looking trim at the bottom. Now this EXL trim is also equipped with the fog lights that are right here, and it also has the functional vents for the air to get in and help with the aerodynamics and the airflow of this vehicle. Now the engine, even though on paper looks very similar, it has changed. So let's pop the hood, let's see what's changed. Well, the hood is open. Let's check it out what's underneath it. But before we take a look at the engine, let's complain about something. And this is it. This is the prop stick right here. It kind of looks cheap. I wish they went with the struts. They did with the brand new CR-V, so I'm not sure what the deal is here. But the engine itself, on paper, it's still the 3.5 liter engine, right? But the changes are on the top end of the engine. So the bottom one is basically the same. The top end, they went from the single overhead cam to the dual overhead camshaft. Different programming. Honda says that it's the most powerful V6 that they've made for the Pilot, which right now is at 285 horsepower, 262 pound-feet of torque. It has also made it to a new to the Pilot 10-speed automatic transmission. Now that transmission has been used with some of the Acura models, so it has been proven, and so it's not something that's brand new to the brand. But it also has the brand new VTM system, or upgraded VTM system, and that's the variable torque management system. And this particular one is also an all-wheel drive, so that can deliver the power to all four wheels. Take a look at the side profile of this vehicle, and it definitely looks different, definitely looks bigger, and that's because it is. At 199.9 inches, it is one of the largest SUVs in its class. It is bigger than the Telluride Palisade, the previous generation Pilot, the Highlander, and it's only smaller than the Jeep Grand Cherokee L, and I think Chevy Traverse is a little bit bigger than that. But that's important because a lot of people are looking for it as a three-row SUV, and they really want to utilize the third row seat, which quite frankly in the previous generation it was there, but it wasn't very accommodating. So we're going to check that out in just a little bit. But as far as the styling of it, it's nice. It looks like a proper SUV. It's kind of boxy, it's square, just the way I like it. And if you look at the wheel setup right here, the wheel wells are a little bit more squared off than the previous one, makes it for this more rugged look. They do have this cladding around here as well as the bottom of the doors. And the bottom of the doors also have this polished aluminum trim piece on top, kind of breaks it up a little bit. Standard wheel and tire setup on this EXL trim. We get the 18-inch aluminum wheels. I'm not sure about the design, but you kind of either like it or don't. 255 by 60 on the 18-inch rim, all-season tires. That's what you get as a standard equipment. Mirrors on this particular one, same color as the rest of the vehicle. They do have the built-in turn signals and the blind spot inside of it. And if you look at the windows over here, top of the windows is blacked out, as well as the pillars. Bottom of it is nice and chrome. Door handles, same color as the rest of the vehicle. They also are equipped with the smart entry system. So what I'm doing right now, as you can see, the blinkers blinking. I'm locking and unlocking the car without touching any buttons on the key. So that's the smart entry system that Honda has. And one different thing also from the previous generation one, you see this big window right in here. Now they always had the window, but it wasn't as big. So that just tells you that they're focusing on that third row and behind the third row seat area. So let's check that out. So here it is. This is the back end of it, completely redesigned as well. I like it. It's kind of straight down, which means that we're going to have a lot more room right in this area, and that's important for the cargo if you put it especially behind the third row seat. So you still have the gate spoiler. It's a little bit smaller than on the previous gen one. Third brake light, wiper, they left it exposed. I kind of was hoping that they would hide it underneath here, but there's not a big overhang, so maybe that's the reason for it. A big change here too, most of the manufacturers right now are spelling out the names of their models, and Honda is no different. You have the Pilot spelled out on this dark black trim over here, and it's maybe not as visible on the dark color, but if you get it at least white or maybe red, it's gonna pop. Now the light, brand new ones as well. This is kind of a hybrid light setup because you have the LED taillights with the incandescent turn signals, and you also have the reverse light built in here. Now the reflector lights are right below here, and this is an all-wheel drive vehicle that we have for you today. And scrolling down below, you have this matte gray bumper cover, and right here you have this polished aluminum painted trim. There's no visible exhaust on this, and the only other thing that I didn't tell you about is the rear view camera that now has the washing system. Now some of the higher trim levels are going to be equipped with the smart entry for the gate, where you basically wave your foot underneath it. This one doesn't have it, however it does have a power tailgate. So let's open it up and let's see how much room we have to this. And the gate is open. First thing to show you is there's the gate closer right here. It also says hold to set height, so the gate can be stopped at a different heights. If you have a lower garage, you can actually set that up for here. And there's more room than on my Pilot by about maybe 2 inches or so in the back, and that's important because that adds about 2 cubic feet of total space behind the third row seat versus the previous generation one. Now these seats can be folded down if you need more room, and it's easy to do. You just pull on this and let it drop. Now we have the floor mats in there, so they're not going to drop flat, but they do fold down and create this flat floor that you can store more stuff in here. And of course the middle seats do the same, so you can have tons of cargo room in here. What's also different is the area underneath here. It is a lot deeper, and one of the reasons is that it can accommodate the seat, the middle seat. See, this console right here, I'm going to show you that in a minute, can be actually removed, and that's a middle seat. And in order to accommodate it, Honda made this. So this can store that seat. Also, what's pretty cool is this top cover right here. Like, so you can see at the bottom here, it's plastic. on top, it's carpeting, and depending on what you're carrying, you can actually flip it and move it to the other side. So let's say we always keep it on the plastic side just because it's a lot easier to clean up. In case you were wondering, it does have a spare tire. It's actually underneath the vehicle, and you access it from here. So you lower it down and you can take it out. And if you were looking for the jack, floor jack, and the tools, they are actually right in this compartment over here. So typical with Honda, lots of nooks and crannies, lots of good planning for this. Now the only other thing that we have in the back is we do have the regular power outlet. Nothing else in here that I can see, but since we have this open, let's take a look in the third row seat. So we have cup holders on both sides, and you have vents for the passengers in the third row, which is important, and the USB type A port. So they're a little bit behind because most everybody switching to the USB type C. Well, if you're looking for a roomy vehicle, you definitely will find roominess in this 2023 Honda Pilot. Check this out. I'm 6 feet tall. I have plenty of room above my head. If you look at my knees, probably about 2 inches before I would hit the seat. Now, I'm 6 feet tall. That's for the point of reference. I'm not the smallest person in the world, and I fit very comfortably. This seat can be adjusted back and forth. Now, I have it all the way back, but I really could probably move it a little bit towards the front and leave more room for the rear passenger if needed. I'm going to jump in the third row seat and show you how that is. One other cool thing about this, we have this console right here, and that's an actual seat. When it's folded down, it's got 2 cup holders. It does have the console, but you can actually lift it up and make it into a third seat, which is fairly comfortable as well. The interior on this EXL, well, it's different. Let's check it out. And we're going to start right at the rear door panel over here, and you can see a lot of things going on in here. And you have some leather inserts over here. This is nice and plush and soft, as well as the armrest. Then you have the window control, obviously the door handle, the tweeter, and another speaker right at the bottom. You do have a manual sunshade, and that's an important thing to me, at least, and lots of storage. So that's a lot of nooks and crannies right here. You have the cup holders, a little bit more storage behind here, more storage at the bottom of the door. So Honda thought about people who like to put stuff everywhere, right? Interior of it, we kind of looked at it before, but what you can see, it's a nicely leather trimmed seats. Now this is a great interior. And the third row seat, that's foldable. I'm going to show you that in a second. But one important thing, a lot of people that are buying it have kids, child seats, including myself. And this can accommodate 3 child seats in here. So you can see those exposed child seat locks, the tethers right there, over here in the middle as well. That's so easy to hook them up to. And then if you don't use this third row seat, just fold it out. Or you can even remove it and put it in the space where I showed you in the back, behind the third row seat, so it's out of the way. Super important, and this is very, very important for people, especially who have kids, because if this wasn't removable, third seat with 2 child seats in the middle would be basically unusable. What else do we have here? First of all, this is an all-wheel drive vehicle, and we have a flat floor, so that's super important because all 3 passengers can sit comfortably. You have this console right here, that's for your heating and ventilation system. This is a tri-zone climate control, so this is the third zone in here. You have your adjustments over here. You have the USB type A, 2 of outlets right here. I don't see the power outlet. I know I have the regular power outlet on my 2019 Pilot. Maybe you get it on the higher trims, but I'm not sure. What's pretty cool though too, you have the seat back pockets, but that's not the cool part. The cool part is the little seat back pocket within the seat back pocket where you can put basically your phone. So if you throw it in here, this is deep. You're gonna spend some time looking for it, but no, Honda decided, hey, why don't you just put it in the seat back pocket in here. Pretty cool. All right, well, let's see how to get into the third row seat. Push the button on the door. Okay, this allows the seat to move forward, and this is how the third row seat looks like. Actually, I can already tell you that it's bigger than on my Pilot right there. Well, let me jump inside and see if it's more comfortable. We'll check out how easy it is to get into the third row seat. So you push the button, let the seat do the work, and climb inside of here. And what do we have? Okay, let's get this headrest up and move this seat as far as I can. So let's keep on moving. I'm still not touching. There you go. This is all the way towards me. And I'm happy to report that I'm barely touching my knees to this. This is super important. This is actually a seat that I can see myself going on a longer trip, and it can accommodate two people. One other thing, you have the child safety tethers in one of those seats too, so you can put another, so fourth child seat in here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. If you have 4 kids, you can still fit 3 adults in here, which is unbelievable. Well, technically, this is an 8-passenger configuration, so 2 in the front, 3 in the middle, 3 in the back. I can't see 3 people sitting in here unless they're really small, but you do have a third seat belt here, so that's what it's for. Now, getting in and out of this is fairly easy, and I like it that they didn't raise the seats up, which a lot of the manufacturers do, and that would reduce the headroom. Look at this. I have probably about 2 inches of headroom above my head right here. This is very impressive. It could be a huge selling point for a lot of people looking for that roominess in the third row seat without going to the huge vehicles like the Expeditions or the Escalades. And they're more expensive too. And one last thing, we can't forget about checking the quality of the door by listening to the way it closes. Boom. Nice solid thump right here. Let's take a look at the front door panel. It looks just like the rear one, obviously, but it does have the window mill lock controls right here. Even on this EXL model, you do have the 2 memory seat settings, and then again, lots of nooks and crannies inside of this vehicle, storage underneath here. And let's take a quick look at the interior of here. So seats, nice, wide, comfortable. You have some raised up bolsters, but not very aggressive. This is not a sports car. The seats feel really well. Honda says that these are the most comfortable Pilot seats they've ever made. The whole interior has been changed. So I'm gonna jump in and take a look at it with you. One other thing, take a look. Both seats, driver and passenger, they have power adjustments. On the left-hand side of the steering wheel, you do have the gate opening and turn off the traction control. And let's take a look at the rest of it. And here it is, the interior of this 2023 Honda Pilot. It has been completely redesigned. Let's take a quick look at it. So you can see there's nothing really the same, maybe with the exception of the transmission, the way it shifts. But starting off with the dashboard right here, I like that they do this soft injection plastic right here. This is makes it look more comfortable, that makes it look quieter and more expensive in my opinion. So what they did also is underneath here they created this shelf over here. It's a pretty deep shelf. It's rubber lined so you can put some stuff inside. Then you have this leather wrap around the bottom portion of here that matches the colors of the seats, and then of course you have your regular size glove box compartment. Now, scrolling down in here, we'll get to this tiny screen in just a second, but let's take a look at the steering wheel. Steering wheel, leather wrapped, nice size, 3-spoke steering wheel. You have the double one at the bottom. Lots of buttons on the left-hand side, what's controlling the stuff that's inside of the instrument cluster, and it does have the volume control, does have the track control, and the voice assist or voice commands. Now on the right hand side, what you have is you do have the cruise control settings, dynamic cruise control settings, and the lane keep assist. Behind you do have the pedal shifters, so you can change this 10-speed automatic transmission manually. And now let's take a look at the instrument cluster. It says it's a maintenance mode. I'm not quite sure what it means. I've driven this car and it drives just fine, so maybe they just forgot to turn this off. On the right hand side you have the speedometer, left hand side you have a tachometer, so again it's a little bit different than the previous gen one. Now I had a fully digital display. This one is kind of a combination, so anything on the left hand side, basically from here over to this part, this is all a screen. This is actually a combination of the analog display. The hand of it is actually analog hand. So take a look at the middle right here. You can see the miles per hour, temperature at the bottom. The vehicle's got 7 miles. We're in the normal mode, which by the way, this might be the time to show you the different modes of this vehicle. So, and it does have 7 of them. So let's take a look at the drive modes available. Sport, normal, econ, snow, trail, sand, tow. By the way, if we didn't talk about towing, this is an all-wheel drive vehicle, and this can tow up to 5,000 pounds. So again, this is not bad. I'm going to put it in sport mode so I don't forget when I'm driving it with you. We're going to see what's going on and what we can control in this instrument cluster. So I hit home button on the left hand side. This is super important right here. It says one passenger sitting and it's not wearing the seat belts. That's the driver, that's me. So Honda finally incorporated that into their digital cluster, and that's important because when you're leaving the vehicle, it's going to show you of which seats are occupied and which seats are not. So that's a super important one. So what we have here is we have the maintenance mode. This is your volume, but we can go through here and see what's available. Seat belts, maintenance, tire pressure, safety support, blank screen. You can adjust the brightness. Gauge display settings. Let's see what we have. Menu. Okay, so we can have range and fuel, speed and time, audio, phone, navigation, driver attention, all-wheel drive torque, seat belts, maintenance, tire pressure, safety support, no content, brightness, and gauge display. So basically everything is selected, but you can unselect it if you then want to. Go back to the home screen. There's warnings, so in case you were overdue for service or anything was going on with the vehicle, this would come up in here. And then range and fuel. Let's press this. Right now we have a range of 216 miles. By the way, 19 in the city, 25 on the expressway. Combined is 21 on this all-wheel drive system. So this is your gas mileage on here. Now, average fuel 7.6 miles per gallon, and that's probably because me sitting in this vehicle for a while, just idling it. And let's go back here. Speed and time, audio, phone, navigation. That's what you can have inside of here. So now we'll leave it at navigation, and we're going to get to it in just a second. So this is basically what you have in your instrument cluster. Let's move on to the infotainment system. And I got to tell you, I've seen some reviews of this vehicle, and I've seen some write-ups on it. And a lot of people were complaining about the size of the screen. And I gotta tell you, I have to agree with that. I mean, this is a 9-inch screen, and this is the largest screen that you can get on the Pilot. Even if you go with the Elite trim, you get this 9-inch screen. And with this day and age where a lot of manufacturers are going to 12, even 14-inch screens, it's not even that this is too small, but this is just not going with the competition. However, with that said, if I was to choose between the roominess in the third row seat and the size of the screen, I would definitely get the roominess in the third row seat. But I think it would be a real winner if it had both. So let's see what this instrument cluster has to offer. So it does have some hard buttons on the side. It has a home button, which takes you to the main screen over here. And you can see all apps, phone, FM, Bluetooth audio, smartphone connection. By the way, let's see if we can connect my phone right over here. I'm gonna show you something. So go back to the home screen over here, smartphone connections. You have turns into Android Auto, and here it is. This is a wireless Android Auto. It also has wireless Apple CarPlay, which is a huge improvement in my opinion. This is the way it should be. Now this is also paired up with this wireless charger, which makes it a win-win configuration. And see, this is my local Honda dealership. I'm 7 minutes away from home. Let's take a look at the screen. So this is your screen for the Android Auto. It's nice. It takes up the entire display. Again, I wish it was bigger, but you know, if this is the only complaint I have about this car, I still think it's a winner in my book. So let's go back. Go to the main Honda screen. You have the Sirius XM trip computer, USB general settings. See that. Basically, you can have system, smartphone connection display, sound, camera, voice control. This is where you adjust the settings for it. This is not where you turn the stuff on. And then you have the compass and the vehicle settings. And let's see what we have. So driver 1, you can set up your driver assist system setup, and that's going to basically tell us what it has as far as the driver assist. So forward collision warning, ACC forward vehicle detection, beep, road departure mitigation settings, lane keeping assist, suspend, beep, blind spot info, traffic sign recognition system, speed limit, driver's attention monitor, rear sensor settings. It does have tons of safety feature, which is really important, especially that it is a family vehicle. Now go back to the home screen and scroll back here. So you have the FM, AM, system updates, clock. Not sure what these settings are. There you go. This displays a pretty cool looking clock. And it goes to settings, clock faces. You can change that. How about this? We have a little ladybugs in here. All right, we'll change that. Go back to the last screen over here, and we have the display mode, which you can switch between day and night, or you can set it on auto if you'd like to, off, brighter, darker. And then you have the cabin talk. And the cabin talk, basically what it does, it projects your voice through the microphone to the rear speakers. So if you have kids that seem like they don't listen, you can amplify your voice and yell at them. Let's, well, first of all, let's take a look at the rest of it. So you have the volume, audio, and the seek and track buttons over here. And let's see the rear view camera, put it in reverse. Just a regular rear view camera. I think, if anything, this could use a little bit of improvement. I know the higher end trims would come with like the 360, which I can't wait to either show you the Trail Sport, which on paper it's my favorite trim, but also the Elite and the Touring should have that too. So 3 different settings for your camera angles: top down, narrow angle, and wide angle. That's what you have. Nothing really too crazy. You have the active trajectory line. Scrolling down over here, this is where you turn the vehicle on and off. You have the hazard lights, and then you have the shortcuts for basically all of your climate control settings. Both seats, driver and passenger, on this EXL trim come standard with the heated seats. And then, as you can see, you can change your temperature over here. Right now we're in the sync mode, so all 3 zones are changing at the same time. You can unsync it hitting this button, and then you can change the rear settings. If you hit this rear button over here, you can change the temperature, fan speed, etc. for the rear passengers only, or for the right or left. And quite frankly, we use it quite a bit. There's a little bit of storage in here for smaller phones, maybe USB type A, type C, and then the regular power outlet. You do have a charging pad right over here, and it does charge through the case right here. You can see my phone's got a case on it and charges through it. Not bad at all. It does have the same type of shifter as I have on my 2019. It is raised up, and I think they raised it up for a reason, and that's a smart one, because a lot of people would put drinks right in the cup holders. That's what they're for. So if they spill, well, hopefully it's not going to get into any of those electronics in here. Otherwise, this could create a short, so there's a lot of concern about that. So make sure that you don't keep any open beverages in there. Drive modes, I showed you what they have. This is where you change them. You have the automatic engine start stop button. You can turn that on or off in here. Hill descent assist. You have the parking brake and the brake hold button over here. And then you have this large console armrest, and you can open it up. Tons of room in here. You can put a lot of stuff inside of here. And let's scroll up in here. Then what we have is the sunglasses holder, and that also acts up if you stop it halfway. Basically, this is your mirror for the kids. There you go. So you can see what's going on in the back. Nothing too crazy in here. You have the lights on, off for doors. These are the LED lights. No sunroof. I think this is the first time that the EXL doesn't come with the sunroof. Honda decided might not be needing it, but the Touring and above would come with like the panoramic sunroof, which is pretty cool. Illuminated mirrors on both sides. And this is it, guys. This is the interior of this 2023 Honda Pilot EXL. I'll tell you what, that's pretty exciting. But let's see how it drives. Before we take it for a spin, let's check it out and let's see what trim levels are available for 2023. So again, the revamped their lineup a little bit. So now the base one is Sport, $39,150 starting MSRP. If you want an all-wheel drive, you add $2,000. The EXL, which is what I have for you today, $41,950. Again, this is for the front-wheel drive, and add $2,000 for the all-wheel drive. Trail Sport, on paper, this is my favorite trim, and I can't wait to actually get my hands on to review it for you. $48,350 comes standard with the all-wheel drive. Touring, which starts off as cheaper vehicle, $46,450, but if you add the all-wheel drive, it's going to be at $48,450. So technically, it's a little bit more expensive than the Trail Sport. And the Elite, which is the top of the line model, $52,350. This is your MSRP, and the Elite comes with the all-wheel drive system as well. So let's check this out. This is the EXL. Everything that you've seen on this video is standard on this vehicle. There's not an option that was added on it, and this is basically what you'll get if you order one straight from the dealership without any additional options. Now, this vehicle is for sale at Honda in Port Charlotte, Florida. Norm Reeves Honda in Port Charlotte, Florida. Well, as soon as you get behind the wheel of this vehicle, start driving it, you'll see that it is bigger than the previous generation one, and that's because it is. But it's not very difficult to drive. The steering wheel feels good, not only to the touch, but the way that it reacts. It's not too soft, it's not too tough, it's just the right balance of it. You have this huge windshield, which gives you a great visibility, as well as the side windows. I mean, there's really very few blind spots on this vehicle. They even moved the mirrors all the way forward to reduce the blind spots over here. And the pillars, the front, the A-pillars are in the place where they actually don't block too much. So let's take it and spin it around a couple times and see how tight this turning radius is. And we're doing it, my goodness, this thing turns basically around its own axle. I wish I had some painted parking spots, but I believe this is a lot tighter than the competition. It probably is tighter than the previous generation one, at least it feels like it. So, but very nice overall. Engine at the lower RPMs, you can barely hear it. We're going to see what happens when we actually accelerate. Now, I do have it in the sports mode. It does say maintenance mode on it. I hope this is not going to affect the way that this vehicle drives. Now, I've driven it around the block a couple times before, and it seemed fine, but we're going to check that out in just a little bit. Well, Honda claims that these seats are the most comfortable seats that they ever put in the Pilot, and I believe that. Actually, the previous generation, there was nothing wrong with that. There's tons of adjustments that you can make on them. These feel a little bit wider and a little bit fuller. Not sure how to describe it, but they are really nice and comfortable. So I'm going to take it, and hopefully I'm going to find a piece of road where I can actually open it up a little bit. I don't think the 0 to 60 is super important on the family SUV. It is, however, important that you merge in traffic without causing any backups or without being rear-ended. So, I mean, it is important that it does have some cool acceleration. I'm going to turn it around over here and see if we can open it up. Maybe do, stop to about 40, 50, 60 miles per hour, depending on how much traffic we're going to encounter in here. But overall, so far, this is a very positive experience. Okay, well, let's hit it. 40, 50, 60. All right, so it goes. There's no question about it. It does have some pickup and go. It's probably in the mid 7 seconds if I were to guess. I don't know the exact data on it. If you do, put it in the comment section below. That would help me out. But it feels pretty quick. It definitely is enough to get you going, to get you up to speed and merge into traffic. The one thing that is very noticeable, though, is the engine noise. And it's not this annoying engine noise. It's kind of more manly, growly noise, if you can say that. So I'm actually glad that Honda didn't go with the 4-cylinder engine on this. What I wish they've done, too, is in addition to this 6-cylinder engine, that they would add a hybrid, some kind of an electrified vehicle to its family. Now, I know not all of the vehicles have it. Acura MDX used to have a hybrid. I think they got rid of it for some reason. I wish they bring it back. I wish they bring the hybrid back. 21 miles per gallon. It doesn't seem bad in comparing with some of the larger SUVs, but you know what, 30 would look a lot better on its resume. So overall, a very positive experience with this Pilot. I love the shape of it, the design of it, what they've done with the exterior, with the roominess. It's unbelievable. Couple suggestions. If somebody at Honda, for some reason, decides to watch my video, which I don't know if they do or not, but, put the hood struts underneath that hood. It makes it a lot easier for the consumer. It's easier on the eye, and it's a lot easier to get this hood open. Now, also, if you are listening, well, maybe reconsider this screen right here. The 9-inch screen, well, there's nothing really wrong with that. 12-inch screen would be a lot better. But if you really want to compete, go something like 14-inch screen. 360 camera, maybe upgrade it a little bit, put it as a standard equipment on it. And another thing that I think this vehicle could benefit from is the rear view mirror with the camera. That definitely makes a whole lot of difference, especially when you have the vehicle full of people, that you can still see what's going on behind you. So that eliminates basically the blind spots completely. Other than that, it is a great vehicle. I definitely, when they get the Trail Sport, maybe I'll bring it home and show it to my wife, see what she thinks about about it, as she is the one who's driving our Pilot the most, and get her opinion on it. But I think this might be a very, very strong contender for our next vehicle. So we'll stay with the Honda family, hopefully. Well, guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you liked it, and I hope you learned something from this video. And if you did, go ahead and give me that like. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, check it out. I hope you'll find something that you'll enjoy, and give me that subscribe. It really helps me out a lot, and I really thank every single one of you out of that 7,000 subscribers that we're up on. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in my next video. Cheers.